Good evening. How are we all doing? Hope you're well. Let me know, guys. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Just feel free to say hello there, and I will say hello and call your name out as well. We're sat in a different area of the room tonight. I just thought I'd change it up a little bit. It seems this is a bit of a different lesson. We're not learning a piece of music tonight. Hello, Wayne. Hope you're well. We're not learning a piece of music tonight. We're talking about some sort of musical theory, in a way, I suppose. And the subject of this evening is how to learn your notes on the fretboard, or the best methods for learning your notes on the fretboard. Now, a lot of my students that I teach, they put this off, and this is the task that's sort of quite put off or put to the back of the, put to the back of the queue, something that you're not really going to focus on, because there's more interesting things like learning songs and things like that that's more enjoyable for you. But learning the notes on the guitar is a massive, really benefit to any guitarist. You can start to make sense of the songs you're learning, scales, everything starts to connect and make sense to you if you know the notes on the fretboard. You can start to relate chords with scales, and which notes are in the chords and which notes are in the scales. The fretboard just starts to come to life a little bit. Hello Paul, hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in this evening, guys. So what I'm going to talk you through, so I think what's really important is the reason why I think people fail with this task is not having a solid method to practice. And this is the main reason I think everyone sort of gives up or fails with this task. It's really important that you have a method, or a couple of methods that work for you, which makes this job a lot easier. Hey Brendan, hope you're well, thanks for tuning in. Hello Rod, hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in, Rod. So it's really important that you have a couple of methods that work for you that is going to make this job a lot easier for you, okay? Now there's a couple of things, before we start and I go through the methods and I talk you through some of the exercises, there's a couple of things you're going to need to know to be able to do this, basically. So on a basic level, obviously you're going to need to know your open string names, so the E, A, D, G, B, E. So from the low string to the thin string, you're going to need to know that. That's quite important to be able to know. So if you don't know that, make sure you do know that. I like to say to my students to be able to go all the way down and all the way back up. So E, A, D, G, B, E, and E, B, G, D, A, E. So both ways, to be able to be really confident to be able to say that nice and quickly. So that's the first thing you're going to need to know. You're also going to need to have a bit of knowledge about the musical alphabet. You're going to need to know that there's 12 notes in the whole of the musical alphabet, okay? That's all of the notes in the musical alphabet, and there's 7 natural notes. Now what I mean by natural notes is the notes without sharps and flats. So that's A, B, C, D, E, F and G. And then all the other notes in between that make up to the 12 notes are your sharp notes. So, A sharp, as we go through, so A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and then back around to the cycle again, okay? So you're going to need to know that note cycle. So the musical alphabet, you're going to need to know. That's really important that you know that before you sort of move on to these methods and get down the start the task basically of learning the notes on the fretboard. It's really important. So, okay, the guitar stars are already going to have all of this in the group. You're going to have a fretboard diagram sheet that's been put in the group earlier today, and you'll have all the methods on there as well, so you can refer back to them. As I said, this video will leave this page after this evening's live lesson, and it would just be available for the guitar stars within the group, okay? So method number 1, finding all of your natural notes on the fretboard. So for method number 1, we need to be looking for A, B, C, D, E, F and G, okay? Now what I like to do is to pick 2 of those in a practice session and find them on the fretboard, 1 note per string, okay? Now we're not worried about open strings, because as I said, we've done that in the basic stage. We already know E, A, D, G, B, E. But we want to do fretted notes, okay, up to the 12th fret. Now I don't worry at the moment going past the 12th fret, because if you know about the guitar already and how it works, anything past the 12th fret is like a copy and a paste of this area of the guitar down here, okay? So fret 1 here being F, this is like the reset point here up on the 12th fret, and that's like fret 1 again, or fret 13 is the F note again, okay? So it's where everything repeats on the guitar. So if you don't know that, you've learned something already, okay? So that's the reset point. So we're going to worry about this evening going up to the 12th fret there when we practice these. So the first note in the sequence is going to be A. So what we're going to do, as I said, the guitar stars, you can refer to your sheet, the colourful diagram that I've given you in the group, and you can refer to that and you can look on the sheet and see where the notes are. But what we're going to do is we're going to look for A on the low 6th string, on the E string here, which is on fret number 5. We pick that one, and then we move on to the A string. Now, if you know on the A string, it's quite easy to remember that the 12th fret is the reset point. So open A is going to be 12th fret on the A string, okay? So it's going to go 5th fret, 12th fret, and we're going to go to the 7th fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the G string, 10th fret on the B, 5th fret on the high E. Now look, if you know the location of the low E string, you're going to know the location on the high E string. It's exactly the same. If A is on fret 5 on the low E string, it's going to always be on fret 5 on the high E string. Alright, so it's a quick method to be able to pick those two strings up really quickly. So what you're going to do, you're going to go all the way up and all the way back, and I do 4 cycles, okay? So I go... When you start doing this, do it nice and slow, okay? Obviously I've got quite good at this now, so I can do it quite quickly, but do it nice and slow, and it's more important that you're thinking A, or saying A out loud as you're practicing this, okay? What we don't want it to become is just a pattern that you're just playing across the fretboard and not thinking at all about what the notes are. It's really important that we're thinking A, 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 because then we're connecting up a visual reference on the fretboard with the location and the numbers on where it is on the guitar, okay? So as I said, I like to pick 2 in a practice. So I've done A, I would also then pick B, and I do 4 cycles on each. So I've done 4 cycles on A, I would then do 4 cycles on B. Now, if you know where A is, B is only 2 frets higher. So it goes A sharp, B, so we move up 2 frets higher. So everything we just did then is going to be 2 frets higher. So B now is going to be on the 7th fret of the low E string. Now 2 frets higher than we were earlier was going to be up here past the 12th fret. If you remember, I said we don't want to go further than the 12th fret. So it's actually going to be down here now, fret number 2. So I've gone 7, 2, 9, 4, 12, 7 again, 12, 4, 9, 2, 7. Now you don't need to do it that fast. I'd actually prefer you didn't, and keep it really nice and slow. Think about the note you're playing and go for accuracy over speed. It's more important that you target the right notes and you hit all of the right notes. So okay, so I was really confident, and I go for 4 cycles. I haven't played 4 cycles there, but 4 full cycles, all the way up and back, that's 1 cycle, all the way up and back again, that's the 2nd cycle. You do 4 of those, okay, in your practice. Hopefully you can see this is going to take minutes. It's probably going to take no more than 10 minutes, less than that I would say, between sort of 8 and 10 minutes. It's really not going to take a long period of time at all. But you put this in at the start of your practice or at the end of the practice, and it's really going to help. Throughout the week, you're going to get through all of the natural notes, so A, B, C and D, E and F, and then G by itself if you want to break it up like that. Or maybe you want to do E, F and G, 3 together on the last practice. It doesn't matter. You're going to get through all of the natural notes by the end of a week, okay? You practice this over a period of, say, 4 weeks, you'd be amazed at how quick this information is going to start to sink in. Most important, you do it repetitively, 4 cycles, you do it slowly, and you say either out loud, if you're with other people in the house, I completely understand you don't want to be saying A all the time, annoying them, and they think you're probably going crazy, but say it in your head, okay? As long as you're saying it in your head. What you don't want to be doing is staring out the window and not thinking about this. This is an exercise that requires you to think about where the notes are on the fretboard and say to yourself, either out loud, better to do it out loud, but if not, then say it in your head as you play through the notes nice and steadily. Go for accuracy, as I said. Accuracy is most important over speed, all right? So that's method number 1. Method number 1 is finding all of your natural notes. Once you've learned all your natural notes, A, B, C, D, E, F and G, you might be like, well, Rich, there's 12 notes in total. That's correct. But when you've done all the effort on your natural notes, well, the notes in between the sharps and the flats are really easy, because if you know where A is across the fretboard, all the way up and all the way back, well, you know where A sharp is. It's just 1 fret higher, all right? Or A flat is 1 fret lower on the guitar. If you don't know, if you sharpen a note, you're just moving up a fret. And if you flatten a note, you're just moving down a fret, okay? So sharp is flat. A good way to remember this is if you sit on something sharp, you stand up, so the note moves up. And if you've got a flat tire, the tire goes down, you move down, okay? So if that's a way for you to remember that, I use that quite a lot, that method, that sort of explanation to help some of my students remember. Sharps go up, flats go backwards, okay? They go down, the pitch goes lower. That's method number 1. Now method number 2, okay? Method number 2 is going to be utilising octave shapes across the fretboard, okay? Now if you know your octave shapes across the fretboard, it's really easy to start mapping out the fretboard and knowing your notes and where they are. Now, the information you're going to need for this, to be able to do this properly, is ideally you're going to need to be able to know the notes on the E, A and the D strings. If you can do the notes on the E, A and the D strings, you'll find this much, much easier to learn your notes and be able to use the octaves to do this. So, just to show you, I'm going to pick a note G, okay? Now, G is down here on the low E string. Now, if I go in a diagonal pattern across the fretboard, so I skip a string and I go in a diagonal pattern, put my finger on fret 5 for the D string, that's also a G. Alright, so that's the G. So you can see, I can start to see this visual pattern. It's the same for every note. Alright, so there's my G there, there's my G there in a diagonal pattern. If I want to find where A is, fret 5. I want to find another A, diagonal pattern, jump a string, up two frets. A again, always going to be the same, okay? No matter what one you want to play on, whatever key you want to play on, it would always be the same in that diagonal pattern. Now when you move up to the D string, this is where things change ever so slightly. It's the same on the A string, okay? So that's A, alright? Now if I want to move up from there to find the next A, when I get onto the D string, because of the B string and the way it's tuned, we call it the B string shift, because of the way guitar is tuned, your B now is not going to be like that. It's going to be one extra fret higher with the little finger. Okay, so we've got this shape. So there's my G, diagonal pattern onto the D string, another G, swap that with the first finger, and there we go again. Now I can keep going. If I want to come back the other way, there's first finger there, come back in this direction now. There's my G there, and I can go again, and again. And I can basically just keep on going up the fretboard in that pattern there, okay? And I can do that in any key. Any key I pick, I can do that, and that's the same for all of the shapes across the fretboard. So for instance, if I pick F, so F's down here on the low E string, I want to find another F, diagonal pattern onto the D string. Once I've got to there, remember on the D string, switch with the first finger, use the little finger, jump across the string. There we go. And once we got there, obviously we can't go again, so we're going to go off the fretboard, so we've got to come back this way. And that's the shape there, and then back that way. And we keep going, okay? We keep moving that pattern to go up the fretboard. And that's using octaves. And if you're thinking, what's an octave? Basically, the first note and the second note, there's 8 notes apart in the scale. So if I go back to G, and I play up the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's that note on the diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's why it's called an octave. So 8 stands for oct. Octave is 8 notes apart in the major scale. Okay? Method number 2. Okay, so far we've done final natural notes, we've done octave shapes. The next one is simply learning the dot positions on the guitar, okay? So, looking at the guitar, you can see it's mapped out with the dots on the fretboard, and you can see that visually on top of the guitar. You can see they've got the dots on top of the guitar, and the double dots at the 12th fret on most guitars. Some Spanish classical acoustics are slightly different, but generally this is going to work on most acoustics and most electrics. You'll learn the dot positions. So you'll say, start on the E string. Hey James, hope you're well, buddy. You start on the low E string, and you say, right, G, using the shapes that your guitar says we've got in the group. You say G, A, B, C sharp, E. Okay, just all the dots. Then onto the next string, C, D, E, F sharp, A. And then onto the next string, F, G, A, B, D. Do you see what I mean? So you're moving up through the strings, learning the dot positions. And if you know where the dot positions are, if you've got to go 1 fret either side, then it's just 1 higher. So if I go, that's G, and I go, well, what's that one that side then? Well, that's G sharp. If I know where the dots are, I'm narrowing down, you know, how much thought process I need to be doing. Because what you can do, as you could probably imagine, on a basic level of doing this, if you're trying to work out what the 10th fret is, you could start at the open string, and you could go, this is a method I haven't discussed, and you could go A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, okay, and work your way up. But how long does that take? That takes far too long. If I know where the dot position is on the 9th fret there, which is F sharp, yeah, I'll then know, oh, 1 fret up from F sharp, musical alphabet, G, and that's how I work that. Okay, that's another method I would use, or I could use, to figure out the notes on the guitar. Okay, so as you can see, multiple methods is going to make this job much, much easier for you. You might find one or two out of the 4 that I've suggested, and I'm going to suggest the next couple, that work better for you. Work with those, it's absolutely fine, yeah? Work with those methods. Work with the ones that work with you. It's probably going to be about 2 methods, I'd imagine. Possibly 3, maximum 3 methods that you're going to use to figure out the notes on the fretboard. And the best one is the one I did first, which is the finding the natural notes, because very quickly, over a course of maybe just a couple of months, if you're practicing quite regularly, you really are going to start to unlock the fretboard and start to understand the notes. And if someone asks you to find me an E note on the fretboard, very quickly you'd be like, yeah, where? Where do you want the E? Whoops, see, that one very good. Where do you want the E note? You can literally just find the note very, very quickly on the fretboard there, okay? Which is really, really what you want to be doing. Quickness, and not taking too long, just being very efficient with finding your notes. Then the final method, okay? Just checking my notes, make sure I've not missed anything. The final method is bringing technology into the equation, because I know some people like to use technology to practice. You use an iPad, things like that, computers when you sit down practicing. So you've got these things readily available, why not use them, okay? Instead of endlessly scrolling through Facebook and Instagram, all that sort of stuff like we all do, why not use your tablet or your phone to, download an app? Now this app, Justin Guitar, he's another guitar teacher, a really great guitar teacher as well. I'm not going to talk badly about Justin Guitar, he's fantastic at what he does. He's got an app called the Guitar Note Trainer. Now I used to use an app called the Fret Tester, but they've stopped updating it and it stopped working, which is really annoying. So I've downloaded a new one, which is the Guitar Note Trainer from Justin Guitar. And what you can do, I'll try and get as close as I can to the camera. Basically, it gives you a guitar fretboard like this, very similar. So this is why I like this app. It's very similar to the one I already had. Sorry if it's going to reflect off the screen. I'll try and get this so that the ring light's not on there. Basically, if you can see that, you've got the guitar fretboard, and then at the bottom you've got a series of notes in order there. And I can't not get the ring light on the screen. There we go. There's a blue note over here, and it's asking on the 12th fret of the low E string, what note is that? Okay. Now I know that's E because it's the 12th fret, so I select E on the choice of notes, and I hear an audible reference of the note as well, which is really clever, because then you're not just naming where the note is and finding where the note is, you're hearing where the note is. So you start referencing pitch with visual as well. So you hear that note on the low E string, and you can hear the pitch. You start to remember the pitch. So that note there, just trying everyone, is a B. It's on the A string, so 2nd fret. So I find a B on the bottom there, and I select B, and it shows me B, and it plays the pitch of B, and it's gone back to the E string again now on the 12th fret. Okay, it tallies up how many you're getting right and how many you're getting wrong, and you can set a timer. So you can say, look, I'm going to do 30 seconds of practice. When you've got 30 seconds, end of a practice, or I've got a minute, or I've got 3 minutes, or however long you've got to practice, and you can run this through. It's a really, really great app, honestly. I've done this sort of stuff before, like on coaches, on a plane, I've done it before. On the plane once, I tried to do as many as I could in a row without making a mistake. There's places where you've got that dead time where you're just bored out your brain, and you want to do something, useful, not just scrolling through Facebook and things like that. Something that's useful with your time. I've used that on a plane and just tried to do a clean sweep, how many I could get. I think I got to 200 and something, and then I hit one wrong. I was like, oh no. And then I reset it and started again, sort of thing. It's a really fun little game to do. How many can you get in a row correct without making a mistake? It's just a real fun thing to do. Well, I found it fun anyway, especially on that sort of thing where you've got lots of dead time on a plane or on a train or on a bus or a coach or whatever. Obviously not when you're driving, but you get the idea. It's just when you've got dead space and you've got dead time and you want something to do, having that on your phone or on an iPad or something that you've got with you, 5 minutes, and it's really going to help with your progress on finding the notes on the fretboard. Alright, so recap the 4 methods that I suggest you use to try and learn your notes on the fretboard, and I guarantee if you do this and you use any of these methods, I guarantee in a very short period of time you're going to really start to learn the notes on the fretboard very quickly. Don't be like, go for the method of going every single string, every single note up to the 12th fret on every single string. That's too much hard work, and that is hard work, and that is going to be boring for you. We try and make things as easy and as efficient as possible, and that's what I'm doing this evening by giving you these 4 methods. So method number 1 was finding the natural notes on the guitar, 1 note per string, all the way up, all the way back, 4 cycles on each. So 4 cycles on A, 4 cycles on B. Do 2 notes per practice, A and B in one practice. Next time you come in. Now, as I said, next time you come in for practice, if A and B were a little bit sloppy in the previous practice, stay on them. Don't move off. Stay on A and B. You're the judge of that. If you think I did 4 cycles on A and B and I'm absolutely 100% accurate and a pretty good speed, then move on to C and D. Okay? And then only when C and D sound good, move on to E and F and G. So, you know, it takes as long as it takes for it to sink in for you. But if you follow that method, I guarantee within a course of 4 weeks, if you're really sticking to it, I guarantee your knowledge on the fretboard is massively going to improve. You'll surprise yourself. All right? So that's method number 1. Method number 2 was that using the octave shapes on the fretboard, so 8 notes up in a major scale, or that diagonal pattern on the fretboard. Just remember that when you get to the D string, it goes up an extra fret in terms of the split, so that you can find the notes. And you can do that pattern across the whole fretboard in any key, and it always works. It's always the same. Providing you're in standard tuning, it's always going to work, which most of the time we are in standard tuning for the songs that we learn. And then the third one was to learn the dot positions on the strings. So learning the dot positions, so cutting out, instead of doing every single note, learn the dot positions. Because if you know where the dot positions are, and say someone asks for a C note, and you know the dot, which is B there, well, it's just 1 fret high, find your C note. Okay? It's going to make it really quick. Never quicker method. And then the other one is to use technology, which was the fret tester, which is actually called the fret trainer, which I just put down over there. Download that app. It's about £1.79 or something like that, I think it was. Not a lot of money. And just practice it in time when you're just sort of, you know, dead time. Boring time, when I said sat on a coach, sat on a train, sat on a plane, wherever you are, where there's time to kill and you're just like, what can I do? Do something useful and just, you know, go through that. Do something like I did, which was try how many can I get in a row without hitting a mistake. And then when you hit a mistake, reset it and try again. It's just challenge yourself. It's really quite fun. And then makes learning your notes fun and enjoyable, as opposed to this really horrible task that takes years and years and years and you don't really ever learn the notes correctly. So, you know, it is a task and it is like, it can be quite a big task, but the methods that I've given you hopefully is going to break that down for you and make the process a lot easier. I said the reason why I think most people fail is they just try and just like learn all 6 strings in one go. They're just constantly repeating the strings, going up and down, up and down and down, and that takes hours and too much time. They don't have efficient methods for learning the fretboard. But with the methods that I spoke to you this evening about, I'm hoping that you guys will take half of the time to learn the notes across the fretboard. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so it's a bit different this evening. I've not done a song. I want to do something different with you guys. I don't always want to do songs with you. I want to do some other things that's going to help you as guitarists to improve. And next week, we won't be here on a live lesson because I'll be down in the club teaching the guitar club next Thursday. So that will be the next one. And then the one after that, I think, is the James Blunt song, which we're doing acoustic week. And then after that, I think I'm on holiday for a week. And then after that, I think this is where Stephen recommended this, but we're going to do a series of guitar solos. So short guitar solos that are really great for you to learn, but like a series of, like we did a while ago, we did like barbecue songs or songs that should be in your barbecue playlist. This is going to be like solos that I think every guitarist should know. And they'll be like short solos. They won't be like solos that are going to take you 3 months to learn or even longer than that. There'll be solos hopefully in a couple of weeks that you guys can go away and you can learn very quickly. And if there is a solo that's going to take a little bit longer, I'll do it over 2 weeks so you guys have time in between to practice the first part and then come back. Because I know the feedback from, I did that on the Patchy recently, and the feedback from that was that you really enjoyed doing it over a couple of weeks because it gives you more time to catch up as opposed to trying to cram it all into one live video. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions this evening? Does anyone have anything they want to ask? Anything you want me to recap on the notes? Yeah, just any questions. Feel free to fire away, guys. I'm not in a rush to go away. Don't forget, as I said, this video now will disappear off the page after the live, and it will only be available now to the guitar stars, which will be dropped in the group later this evening. So if you do want to rewatch it, you will need to become a guitar star to get access to the full video, plus the handouts that go in the group as well, and all the methods that I've written down. Cool. Have I talked? You guys seem very quiet this evening. Have I bored you to tears, or is that helped anyone at all? Let me know if it has. Have I confused anyone? Yeah, is there anything you need me to touch upon again? Or oh yeah, cool. Okay, Paul. Yeah, so in November, what Paul's referring to there, it says a reminder about the band event. Yeah, in November, that's correct. I'm just checking the date, but in November, I should know this stuff, but I'm useless at remembering dates. I do not remember dates. If I didn't have my calendar, that's everywhere on my phone, on my Mac, everywhere, I wouldn't remember any dates. I'm just not very good at remembering dates. Let's have a little look. So in November, I'm running a band like workshop, which basically means that everyone's going to get together in the room. We're going to study a song, which I've not told anyone what that song is yet, but we're going to study a piece of music, and throughout the day in groups, and we learn together. And at the end of the day, we've got a professional band coming in, which is my band. They're going to come in, and you guys are going to get up and play the lead guitar parts with a live band, in a live setting, lights, the lot, everything, professional PA. You're going to be standing up on stage playing that to the audience, people that are there for the event. So it's a really great opportunity. If you've always wanted to play guitar live or play in a band, it's a really great opportunity to do that, okay? So yeah, there's just a couple of, because of COVID, because of the restrictions now being dropped, before I had to limit the numbers a little bit, but now I can open up to a few more. So I've got a few more spaces if you guys or anyone wants to get involved with that. Do let me know, just drop me a message, or if you type in on Facebook, you'll find, I think it's MGTB Guitar Band Experience. You will find an event page for that, and you can follow the link through to that and get your tickets. But if not, just message me and I can help you out. Steve says, I missed the first half, so watching the group. Your summary for the 4 months makes it sound like it will be really easy. Great. Yeah. Steve, no worries at all. I'll drop this video, as I said, into the group afterwards, after the live now. But honestly, it is really efficient. If you can follow the methods, it's really efficient. It won't take long at all. I guarantee it won't take you long. You just need a method, and you just need to persevere with it, and just have these methods, and I guarantee they're going to work. I've seen amazing things from my students who follow these methods, who didn't understand the fretboard and just really start to crack it and make sense of why the notes are. And Rod, you're welcome. Thank you very much. I hope to see you soon, Rod. I know you've been very busy, rushing around, all over the place doing different things. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you soon, Rod. But yeah, I know you've been busy. Excellent. Cool. Does anyone have any further questions at all? I mean, feel free to fire away. I'm not in a rush to shoot off. But yeah, do feel free to fire away. If I confused any of you about anything, do let me know. What I will say is, if you do learn the notes on the guitar, it's massively beneficial for you, and it will set you apart from lots of guitarists that just don't learn the notes. It's like, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know the notes. I just want to learn songs. That's great. But eventually, you'll want to learn a bit more about the nuts and bolts of the guitar and how it all fits together. And you'll start to connect things a bit more, like I said before, like about the songs, the scales, arpeggios. It's all interlinked, and if you can see that, then you'll become a much better guitar player from being able to visually see that on the fretboard and make sense of it across the fretboard. So I highly recommend that you do have a go at these methods. And I said, rewatch the video if you need to go back over some of the methods. But I really do think, and I'd love to see like some of your progress as well. If you guys want to drop in the group in that, or drop in on the page, and just let me know how you're getting on or anything you're struggling with. I'll do my best to help you guys out and push you forward with it. Living the dream, Rod. You are living the dream, 100%. Yeah. Excellent. Right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching this evening. I said a bit of a different lesson tonight, something a little bit more theoretical, but I hope you've taken something from it, and I hope it's just showing you that it's not such a huge task if you break it down into manageable pieces. I guarantee within a few months, you guys will start to be across the fretboard and know the notes on the fretboard. Awesome. Look, so I won't see you next week because I'll see some of you guys in the club. Ian, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate that. So thank you, Ian, for watching, and thank you. I'm really glad that you got something from that. So yeah, thank you very much, Ian. Appreciate that. So I'm not here next week on a live video, but I am in the club. Yeah, I am in the club next week. And for the guys coming to the club, just in case you want to know what's going on, I'm not going to tell you exactly what song we're doing, but we are doing a song. It's going to be a fun club, so it's a really enjoyable one. As you normally know, I put you into groups and stuff, which I will do a little bit of that. but the whole point of this club is going to be that we're all doing it in a big group together, okay? So the next club, it's going to be a real group effort with everybody in the group getting involved, okay? And we've done it before. We did like Hotel California, I think it was, and we did a couple of other tracks. This is going to be a group session where we're all going to perform at the end of the session, okay? So it's a song. I've already picked the song. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Not going to give the game away. We're learning a song. We're going to learn separate parts. Then we're all going to come together at the end of the session, and we're going to play together in a big group. And I'm potentially going to get a backing track. Haven't looked yet, but I reckon I could probably get a backing track for the song. And I'll play that as well. And we're going to get together at the end, and we're going to have a great jam and play the song, okay? Last few clubs, we've done a few different things. This time it's going to be fun club, song, group effort, going to get together at the end, and we're going to play the song at the end of the session. I'm really looking forward to it. I think you guys are going to love the song, and I think you're going to really enjoy the session. Right, guys, I've said it a few times now, but I am actually going to go. Thank you very much for watching this evening, guys. I will see you very soon. I'll see you guys at the club next Thursday if you're going to be there. If not, I'll see you on the following Thursday on the live video. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye for now.